This quest is looking at decision making. We'll do a brief overview of decision making and then talk about why this topic is important for college students, not just now in college, but for their futures as well. So first, brain networks, how we make decisions. Essentially, there are two brain networks that we use when we're making decisions. One centers on cognitive control and the other on assessing value. Cognitive control is looking at what our ultimate goal is and how do we get there and achieve it. For a very easy example, think about when you go to the grocery store and you have 5 items that you need to get. Someone with really high cognitive control will walk into the store, get exactly those 5 things, and leave with nothing more, nothing less, just the 5 things that they were supposed to get. Somebody with low cognitive control, on the other hand, will walk into the store, get distracted by the display cases or something that's on sale. They'll pick up a few items and they'll leave the store realizing that they got all kinds of awesome items, but nothing that was actually on their list that they needed. So cognitive control looks at that ultimate goal and whether or not we achieve that. Value assessment looks at the individual decision and the consequences of those decisions, and then determining the value of those consequences. Value assessment can specifically be looking at the short-term but also the long-term consequences of a decision. There is another quest in this section that looks at the marshmallow experiment, and so if you're interested in this idea of assessing value, in particular looking at delayed gratification and if that's better than immediate gratification, then I encourage you to take a look at that marshmallow quest. But assessing value is very different for each individual because we are deciding for ourselves the value of an outcome and what is best for us. So why does this matter? Why does it matter that we have these two brain networks, cognitive control and assessing value, that play a role in how we make decisions? Well, it's important to understand how we make decisions and that we have these two pieces going on so that we can make good decisions. And we need good decisions because the decisions we make now have long-term consequences. Most students think about making good decisions so that they go to class and do their homework and turn things in on time, they don't cheat, and they get good grades. And that is important. You want to earn your degree for sure. But it's also important to think about how the decisions you make now might impact your future career. You can meet all of the educational requirements for a career, but if you can't pass a moral screening or background check, or you have something in your history that would prevent you from licensure or acceptance into a certain field, then that's a big problem. So think about that. Think about the career that you want to pursue after Concordia, and maybe do a little digging and find out, does that field have certain requirements when it comes to character and ethics? Does it have an ethical code for people in that profession? The last thing I want to point out is that time is a huge factor in making decisions. Most importantly, most people will make good decisions when they have enough time to really think through the options and the consequences of a decision. The problem happens when we don't have a lot of time and we need to make a really important decision. So this might be equivalent to flipping a coin to decide where you're going to college or what you're going to major in. When we think about individuals who really make some bad choices, it usually is a very significant decision and there's very little time to make that decision. The way to counteract this is to think through some tough situations that you might be in and come up with your values and the way you would like to decide on something of more significant importance, and make those decisions while you have time so that when you're in a situation where you don't have the time, you can still make a good decision.